Hi, Jim Laird from Jim Laird Strength and Conditioning and Body IO FM. This is a video that I'm filming for a podcast I did, and a question was sent in about a guy who benches a lot, does a lot of bodybuilding stuff, why him and all his buddies' shoulders bother them. And it gets back to that general versus specific battle. Like if you want to be really good at the bench press, and because I come from a powerlifting background, I was taught shoulders down and back in everything that you do, push-ups, bench press. But in reality, for healthy shoulder function, our shoulder blades are designed to rotate around, up, and the thorax, we're designed to move through here and rotate, okay? The bench press does the opposite of that. So if you want to get really, really good at the bench press, you've got to get really good at pinning your shoulder blades together. But if you want to keep your shoulders healthy, you've got to do enough stuff where you're reaching, that I've learned from like Bill Hartman and Mike Robertson up at iFast. And this, is totally counterintuitive to what I was taught, pulling your shoulder blades together. But in sports, like in volleyball and baseball and that, your shoulder blade has to be able to upwardly rotate. You have to be able to move through your rib cage. So you want to incorporate that kind of stuff into your training. Now, if you're trying to be big and jacked in bench press, you want to do just enough stuff to keep your shoulders healthy so you can continue to bench. About 6 years ago, I was in a really bad car accident. I totally blew out the upper right side of my back. I broke the steering wheel off. And so I'm just going to show you some things that I do that I've learned, some of them on my own, some of them from other people, that help me keep my shoulders healthy so I can bench still, and bench at a fairly decent level. So one of my favorite exercises is these chain presses. Okay, and I got these chains, some of them I got from Westside Barbell. These are 40 pounds and 20 pounds. And this is a Barkley Spud handle, and then there's just some carabiners from Amazon. So basically I get here, and you're probably not gonna be able to hear me, but that's fine. Here, the feet are driven in, nice and long. What I do is I press up, and I'm actually reaching to the ceiling. So I'm reaching, and that gets my serratus going. I actually feel this more in my upper back than I do in my chest. And I like to press one at a time, and that just fires that upper back, gets that serratus, and gets me reaching. And it's kind of the opposite of bench press. I'm not pulling my shoulder blades together. I'm actually pushing them apart. And that's going to get serratus. That's going to get a lot of those stabilizer muscles that don't work when you're jamming your shoulder blades together. Another thing that I do to help keep my shoulders working well is the arm bar. And this is a really great exercise because you can pretty much do it at any level. They use this a lot in physical therapy. Probably need to turn around that way, and that's fine. So, if you have a lot of really serious shoulder issues, you can just start here on your back, and once again we're reaching, so we get that shoulder blade moving and get serratus, and we can just start with a screwdriver, okay? And then from there, we drive into this foot, and then we turn, and we reach to the ceiling, and you see I'm reaching, so I have to stabilize it. My shoulder blade has to stabilize it, and you can do your screwdriver in there. And that's going to get that upper back working and help you stabilize it. You'll have people that do a lot of push-ups and a lot of bench press type stuff. And they do that for the first time, and they're like 15-pound kettlebell is all over the place. And you can also do it with a kettlebell upside down, which makes it really, really fun too. The third thing I really like is this seated cable pull down. I got this from Bill Hartman. And a lot of people don't realize the shoulder blade is like this, okay? And it's made to glide along the rib cage. And so a lot of people's backs you'll find are actually flat, and that's why you'll see that kind of, they call it winging. But this is gonna help us round a little bit so we can actually get a nice surface of the rib cage for that shoulder blade to upwardly rotate on. So we're here. I like to squeeze this ball between my knees to help get my abs going, and this kind of comes from the PRI school of thought. So I take a seat, and I actually exhale. I get my ribs down. I feel my abs. I'm squeezing the ball a little bit. My abs are on. I'm rounded a little. My eyes are up. and I'm just taking a breath in. I'm filling up my rib cage on the right side and expanding, and then exhaling. I'm filling up, I'm reaching, I'm actually stretching my lat, and I'm exhaling. I'm filling up and exhaling. Filling up and exhaling. And what that does for me, and a lot of people like me, is I've deadlifted so much, I've carried so many things, my lats are extremely toned all the time. So what that does is you've got a good rib cage position, you've got that zone of apposition where your rib cage and your belly button are lined up, and you're breathing in and you're filling air up into that upper rib cage and getting some expansion there, and then pulling it back down, okay? And that, getting those shoulder blades moving, gets those lats kind of undone, which can cause like low back stuff and all that. So you're just getting some normal function back. I do a lot of these things on my off days, like in between squats or deadlifts, I'll grab a couple sets of that. Or I'll grab some chain presses in between squats and deadlifts. They aren't necessarily sport specific. They're not gonna make you a 700-pound bench presser. But what they are gonna do is they're gonna allow you to keep your shoulders healthy and keep your shoulders feeling well so you can train.